The world is on fire. Nicolás Maduro has launched an accusation that has shaken the foundations of Latin American politics. In an unexpected and explosive turn, the Venezuelan president has pointed the finger at Gustavo Petro, accusing him of being behind a sinister plot to destabilize his regime. This statement has unleashed unprecedented chaos, leaving the international community speechless and the citizens of both countries in a state of fury and fear. Maduro's accusation is not a mere rumor. It is a rallying cry that has resonated in every corner of Venezuela. With a defiant tone and without a shred of doubt, the Venezuelan leader has claimed that Petro, the president of Colombia, is orchestrating a plot to overthrow him. Yes, you heard him right. A plot that Maduro claims is aimed at plunging Venezuela into chaos and anarchy. The streets of Caracas are seething with tension as Venezuelans try to come to terms with the magnitude of these accusations. The news has spread like wildfire, fueled by a media frenzy that gives no respite. The headlines keep repeating it. Maduro accuses Petro of conspiracy. And meanwhile, the world watches in amazement and concern, wondering what will come next in this seemingly endless political drama. Amidst this turmoil, citizens are divided. Some fervently support Maduro, convinced that their leader is defending the nation's sovereignty. Others, however, see these accusations as a desperate attempt to divert attention from the internal problems that plague the country. Whatever the truth, the fact is that this situation has put Venezuela and Colombia on the brink of a diplomatic confrontation of epic proportions. The international community cannot ignore what is happening. World leaders are on high alert, aware that any wrong move could trigger a regional crisis. Meanwhile, Venezuelans and Colombians wait with bated breath, fearing what might come next in this power play that has captured the attention of the entire world. In an unexpected twist that has left the region in suspense, Nicolás Maduro has launched an accusation that resonates like thunder in the midst of a political storm. According to the Venezuelan leader, Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, is hatching a sinister plot that threatens to destabilize not only Venezuela, but all of Latin America. The world watches in disbelief as tensions soar. Behind closed doors, Maduro claims that Petro is pulling the strings of a conspiracy that could change the course of history. The Venezuelan leader's words are not mere insinuations. They are a declaration of political war that has set off alarm bells in every corner of the continent. According to Maduro, Petro is not acting alone. He is said to be surrounded by a circle of powerful allies who share his vision of radical change in the region. The gravity of these accusations cannot be underestimated. Maduro paints a dark and disturbing picture, where secret meetings and clandestine pacts are the order of the day. In this scenario, Petro emerges as the architect of a Machiavellian plan, designed to undermine Venezuela's stability from its foundations. The question on everyone's mind is, how far is Petro willing to go to achieve his goals? Meanwhile, the Venezuelan people watch with a mixture of fear and fury. The streets are seething with rumors and speculation, and uncertainty grips the nation. Is this the spark that will ignite a conflict of epic proportions? Or is it simply a desperate tactic by Maduro to divert attention from his own internal problems? What is clear is that this situation has tested diplomatic relations between Venezuela and Colombia like never before. World leaders are watching with concern, aware that any misstep could trigger an international crisis of incalculable magnitude. The tension is palpable, and the world awaits with bated breath the next move in this political chess game that could redefine the future of the region. In an unexpected twist that has left the world speechless, leaked documents have come to light, revealing what Nicolás Maduro claims is irrefutable proof of a coup plot orchestrated by Colombian President Gustavo Petro. These documents, which have circulated like wildfire in the media, contain chilling details that Maduro says expose a meticulously planned plot to destabilize his government. The pages of these documents, which Maduro presented with an air of triumph and defiance, are filled with names, dates, and strategies that, if true, could change the course of political history in Latin America. The gravity of the accusations is such that it has ignited a fire of indignation and fear in both Venezuela and Colombia, leaving citizens of both countries in a state of uncertainty and alarm. Maduro, in a speech charged with emotion and determination, did not mince words in describing what he calls the most vile betrayal by Petro. According to the Venezuelan leader, these documents not only implicate Petro, but also point to several high-ranking Colombian officials and key figures in the Venezuelan opposition, who have allegedly been collaborating in the shadows to overthrow his regime. The international reaction has not been long in coming. Leaders around the world are watching with amazement and concern as this saga unfolds, aware that the implications of these revelations could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, on the streets of Caracas and Bogotá, the mood is tense. Conversations in cafes and squares revolve around a single question: how far will this confrontation go? Amid this whirlwind of accusations and counter-accusations, the pressure on Petro is mounting. The Colombian president, known for his defiant rhetoric, now finds himself at a crossroads, forced to respond to these accusations that threaten to tarnish his leadership and legacy. The international community is eagerly awaiting his response, as the world watches this political drama of epic proportions unfold. The situation is critical and time is running out. Every day that passes without a clear resolution increases the tension and the risk of a bigger conflict. The question on everyone's mind is, will these documents be the beginning of the end for one of the region's most controversial leaders, or just another chapter in the long history of rivalries and political betrayals in Latin America? In an unexpected twist that has left the international community speechless, Nicolás Maduro has launched an explosive accusation that threatens to destabilize the already fragile relationship between Venezuela and Colombia. According to the Venezuelan leader, Colombian President Gustavo Petro is forging a dark alliance with Venezuelan dissidents, a link that, if confirmed, could trigger a political earthquake in the region. Alarm bells have been ringing in Caracas, where Maduro's government claims to have conclusive evidence of this alleged conspiracy. In a speech full of tension and drama, Maduro did not mince words to describe what he considers an unprecedented betrayal. "It is a plot that seeks to undermine the sovereignty of our country," he exclaimed vehemently, while his followers chanted slogans of support. The epicenter of this political storm is centered on Petro's alleged connections with Venezuelan opposition groups, who, according to Maduro, are receiving logistical and financial support from Bogotá. This revelation has fallen like a bomb on the Latin American political scene, generating a wave of reactions ranging from disbelief to indignation. Meanwhile, in Colombia, the Petro government has categorically denied the accusations, calling them unfounded and dangerous. However, the damage has already been done. The shadow of suspicion hangs over the Nariño Palace, and international pressure is mounting for both nations to clarify this situation that threatens to escalate to unsuspected levels. Amid this turmoil, citizens in both countries are watching with concern as their leaders become entangled in a dispute that could have devastating consequences. The tension on the streets is palpable, and fear of a larger conflict looms over the region. The international community, for its part, is watching closely, aware that any misstep could trigger a crisis of epic proportions. The question on everyone's mind is, how far will this confrontation go? Can diplomacy avert a greater disaster, or are we on the brink of an abyss from which there will be no return? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the world is watching, and history is being written right now. The entire world was stunned when Nicolás Maduro, in an incendiary speech before the United Nations General Assembly, launched explosive accusations against Colombian President Gustavo Petro. In an act that left global leaders speechless, Maduro claimed that Petro was behind a sinister plot to destabilize his government. The room was filled with murmurs and looks of disbelief as the Venezuelan leader reeled off a series of allegations that, if true, could change the course of Latin American politics forever. Maduro, with a defiant tone and a look that exuded fury, did not hold anything back. He accused Petro of orchestrating a coup d'état, supported by Venezuelan dissidents and dark forces seeking to sow chaos in Venezuela. The Venezuelan leader's words resonated like thunder in the room, leaving those in attendance in a state of absolute shock. The seriousness of the accusations not only put diplomatic relations between Venezuela and Colombia in jeopardy, but also set off alarm bells in the main capitals of the world. Stunned international leaders wondered if Maduro's words were the prelude to a diplomatic crisis of epic proportions. The international community was on tenterhooks, waiting for a forceful response from Petro, who until now had maintained a deathly silence. The tension was palpable, and the world was attentively watching every move on this geopolitical chessboard that threatened to collapse. Meanwhile, on the streets of Caracas and Bogotá, people reacted with a mix of anger and fear. Social media was ablaze with comments from citizens demanding immediate answers and action. Uncertainty gripped the region, and the echo of Maduro's accusations spread like wildfire, fueling conspiracy theories and speculation about the future of both countries. In this climate of tension, the question on everyone's mind was, how far was Maduro willing to go to defend his regime? And, on the other hand, how would Petro respond to these accusations that threatened to tarnish his international image? The situation was explosive, and the entire world was waiting with bated breath for the outcome of this confrontation that promised to be historic. Tension in Latin America has reached an unprecedented boiling point. In an unexpected turn of events, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has responded with fury to the incendiary accusations launched by Nicolás Maduro. In a speech full of indignation, Petro not only categorically denied any involvement in an alleged coup plot, but also launched a fierce counterattack, accusing Maduro of creating a smokescreen to divert attention from Venezuela's internal problems. A visibly shaken Petro called Maduro's accusations delusional and a desperate attempt to cling to power. In a bold move, the Colombian president presented his own set of documents that he says demonstrate the Venezuelan regime's manipulation and deceit. Petro didn't stop there. In a gesture that left the international community agape, he challenged Maduro to a public debate, vowing to unmask what he described as the biggest farce in Latin American politics in decades. Petro's response has further fueled the flames of this diplomatic crisis, leaving world leaders in a state of bewilderment and alarm. The international community watches in amazement as two neighboring nations become embroiled in a conflict that threatens to destabilize the region. Meanwhile, citizens of both countries find themselves caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty and fear, wondering what repercussions this standoff will have on their daily lives. Amidst this chaos, social media is ablaze with theories and speculation. Political analysts are rushing to unravel the implications of this titanic clash, while the media is not missing an opportunity to amplify every statement and gesture of the protagonists of this explosive saga. The question on everyone's mind is, how far will this confrontation go and what consequences will it have for the future of the region? The situation is volatile and the outcome uncertain. What is clear is that the world is watching, and the story unfolding before our eyes could change the course of Latin American politics forever. The media storm broke out with unprecedented force, sweeping away everything in its path. The media, like birds of prey, pounced on the news of the century: Maduro's explosive accusation against Petro. Every headline, every news segment, seemed to compete to be the most scandalous, the most shocking. Television screens and newspaper front pages were ablaze with incendiary words, fueling the fire of an international scandal that left no one indifferent. Journalists, microphones in hand and cameras on their shoulders, crowded into news conferences, looking to extract a statement that could make the next big headline. Social media was abuzz with conspiracy theories and heated debates, while political analysts tried to unravel the tangle of accusations and denials. The line between truth and fiction was blurred, and the information-hungry public found itself caught in a whirlwind of rumors and speculation. In this information chaos, the media played a crucial role, amplifying every word, every gesture, every insinuation. Images of Maduro, with a frown and an accusatory finger, were repeated on a loop, while Petro's statements, full of indignation and defiance, resonated in the homes of millions of people. The narrative was constructed and deconstructed at every moment, and the truth became a scarce, almost unattainable commodity. Media coverage not only fueled the controversy, it also shaped it, creating heroes and villains in a story that seemed straight out of a spy novel. Journalists, aware of the power of their words, spared no resources to keep the public's attention, using language charged with emotion and drama. Each news item was presented as a shocking revelation, an unexpected twist in a plot that kept everyone on the edge of their seats. Amidst this frenzy, the question hanging in the air was unavoidable. How far would the media go in its search for the truth? Would they be able to unmask the reality behind the accusations, or would they become mere pawns in a larger power game? The answer, uncertain and elusive, kept everyone on tenterhooks, as the world watched in amazement at the development of a scandal that promised to change the course of history. Tension is palpable in the air, and the world watches in amazement as Maduro's accusations against Petro have unleashed a storm of epic proportions. In the streets of Caracas and Bogotá, the murmur of the people turns into a deafening roar. Venezuelans and Colombians, caught in the eye of the hurricane, react with a mix of fury and fear to the explosive statements that have shaken the foundations of the region. In Venezuela, people feel betrayed, their trust in their leadership shaken. The squares are filled with protesters demanding answers, while social media is ablaze with angry comments. No more lies, some cry, while others fear reprisals from a government that seems willing to do anything to maintain its version of events. Uncertainty looms over every conversation, every glance, every whisper on the street corners. Across the border in Colombia, the situation is no less tense. Citizens are wary of the accusations against their president. Is this a political maneuver or is there something darker behind it? Many are asking. Distrust is spreading like a virus, infecting public perception and sowing doubts about the stability of the region. Families, divided by the border, feel the weight of uncertainty and the fear that this diplomatic conflict could escalate into something much more dangerous. Amidst this chaos, citizens' voices are rising, demanding clarity and justice. Rumors of conspiracies and betrayals are intertwined with the personal stories of those who have suffered under the yoke of political instability. People, tired of being pawns in a game of power, are desperately seeking a way out of this nightmare. The situation is critical, and the world is watching with bated breath. The reactions of the Venezuelan and Colombian people are a reflection of the gravity of the accusations and the impact they have on the daily lives of millions of people. The question on everyone's mind is, what will happen now? Will the leaders be able to find a peaceful solution, or are we on the brink of a conflict that could forever change the face of Latin America? In an unexpected twist that has left the world speechless, Nicolás Maduro has launched an explosive accusation that has shaken the foundations of Latin American politics. According to the Venezuelan leader, Colombian President Gustavo Petro is orchestrating a plot to overthrow his government. This revelation has unleashed a storm of chaos and confusion, with implications that could change the course of history in the region. As the details of this alleged conspiracy unravel, names of enigmatic figures emerge who, according to Maduro, are collaborating with Petro in this dark plot. These characters, shrouded in mystery, are presented as co-conspirators operating in the shadows, pulling the strings of a plan that threatens to destabilize not only Venezuela, but all of Latin America. Maduro's accusations do not stop with Petro. In a speech full of drama, the Venezuelan leader has singled out several individuals, some of them former allies, as key players in this alleged coup. These characters, described as traitors and mercenaries, are accused of acting in collusion with Petro, forming a clandestine network that seeks to undermine Maduro's power from within. Tensions are palpable in the air as the governments of Venezuela and Colombia find themselves at a point of no return. Diplomatic relations, already fragile, hang in the balance, and the world watches with concern as this crisis could trigger a conflict of unimaginable proportions. Amid this whirlwind, the international community faces the challenge of intervening or staying on the sidelines, as cross-accusations continue to fuel the fires of discord. In this scenario of uncertainty, the question on everyone's mind is, who really are these shady characters that Maduro claims are behind this plot? Are they real figures or mere ghosts created to divert attention from Venezuela's internal problems? The answer to these questions could determine the future of a region that is on the brink of the abyss. Tension between Venezuela and Colombia has reached an unprecedented critical point. Maduro's explosive accusation against Petro has unleashed diplomatic chaos that threatens to destabilize the region. In an unexpected twist, the Venezuelan president has pointed to the Colombian leader as the mastermind behind a plot to overthrow his government. This statement has shaken the foundations of bilateral relations, bringing both countries to the brink of a diplomatic confrontation. The fallout from these accusations has been immediate and devastating. Both countries' embassies have reduced their staff, and diplomatic meetings have become verbal battlegrounds. The international community watches with concern as two sister nations slide into an abyss of mistrust and hostility. Stunned world leaders try to mediate a situation that seems to spiral out of control with each incendiary statement. The impact of this confrontation is not limited to the corridors of power. On the streets of Caracas and Bogotá, people are divided between disbelief and fear. Social media is ablaze with comments from citizens demanding immediate answers and solutions. Uncertainty has gripped the region, and the specter of a larger conflict looms over Latin America. Meanwhile, political analysts are warning of the potential economic repercussions of the conflict. Sanctions and trade restrictions could deal a severe blow to the already fragile economies of both countries, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis affecting millions of people. The international community is faced with a dilemma: intervene to prevent a catastrophe or allow tensions to escalate further. In this climate of hostility, diplomacy seems to be the only viable way out. However, negotiations are hampered by mutual distrust and an unwillingness to give ground. The question on everyone's mind is, can Venezuela and Colombia find a path to reconciliation before it is too late? The answer to this question could define the future of the region and mark the beginning of a new era in Latin American international relations. In an unexpected twist that has left the world speechless, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has launched an explosive accusation against his Colombian counterpart, Gustavo Petro. According to Maduro, Petro is orchestrating a sinister plot to destabilize Venezuela, a revelation that has unleashed chaos in the region. The international community is watching in amazement as these accusations could trigger an unprecedented diplomatic crisis. Amid this whirlwind of accusations, the role of the United Nations has become crucial. The organization, which has traditionally been a bastion of diplomacy and peace, now finds itself caught in the crossfire of these incendiary accusations. While Maduro demands international intervention to investigate the alleged plot, Petro vehemently denies the accusations, calling them absurd and baseless. The UN, facing pressure from both sides, must carefully navigate this diplomatic minefield. The organization's credibility is at stake, as any misstep could further escalate tensions between Venezuela and Colombia. World leaders, stunned by the scale of the allegations, are demanding a clear and forceful response from the UN to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council is in emergency sessions, debating how to address this crisis that threatens to destabilize not only Venezuela and Colombia, but the entire Latin American region. The decisions taken in the coming days will be crucial to determine whether this situation will be resolved peacefully or whether it will turn into a diplomatic conflict of epic proportions. The international community is anxiously awaiting the outcome of this saga, aware that the role of the UN could be decisive in avoiding a catastrophe. In a world where geopolitical tensions are on the brink, the role of the United Nations has never been more critical. History is being written before our eyes, and the entire world is watching. The scandal that is shaking all of Latin America has reached unimaginable proportions. Maduro's explosive accusation against Petro has unleashed unprecedented chaos, shaking the foundations of regional politics. In an unexpected turn, tensions between Venezuela and Colombia have reached a critical point, and the impact of this controversy is felt in every corner of the continent. The plot thickens even further when it is revealed that this dispute is not just a confrontation between two leaders, but a political earthquake that threatens to destabilize the entire region. Maduro's accusations have put Petro in the eye of the storm, and the repercussions of this scandal spread like seismic waves, affecting governments and citizens alike. Latin American leaders are watching with amazement and concern as this conflict unfolds before their eyes. The credibility of political institutions is at stake, and confidence in democratic processes is shaken. The shadow of mistrust looms over diplomatic relations, and the fear of political collapse is palpable. In the midst of this whirlwind, citizens' voices resonate loudly. Outrage and fear intertwine in a collective clamor demanding answers and solutions. Uncertainty takes over the streets, and the future of the region hangs in the balance. This scandal has not only put the leaders involved in a state of shock, but has also exposed the vulnerabilities of a political system that seems to be faltering under pressure. The question on everyone's mind is, how will this crisis affect the stability of Latin America? The answer remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The impact of this scandal will be deep and long-lasting, leaving an indelible mark on the political history of the region. Tension in Latin America has reached an unprecedented boiling point. Nicolás Maduro, in a move that has left the world speechless, has launched an explosive accusation against Colombian President Gustavo Petro. According to Maduro, Petro is orchestrating a plot to destabilize Venezuela, a claim that has unleashed chaos in the region. The entire world is on edge. Behind closed doors, a sinister plot is brewing. Maduro claims to have irrefutable evidence that Petro is pulling the strings of a conspiracy to overthrow his government. Leaked documents, which the Venezuelan president claims are the definitive proof, have come to light, revealing an alleged coup plot involving key figures in the Venezuelan opposition. It's a scandal of epic proportions. The international community watches in shock as global leaders try to come to terms with Maduro's shocking statements at the UN. Petro, for his part, has not remained silent. His response has been as forceful as it was unexpected, categorically denying the accusations and launching a counterattack that has left everyone breathless. The press, as expected, has turned this confrontation into a media frenzy, fueling the flames of a scandal that seems to have no end. On the streets, Venezuelans and Colombians alike are reacting with a mix of anger and fear. The possibility of a diplomatic conflict between the two countries is becoming more and more real, and the shadows of the supposed co-conspirators are beginning to emerge, unleashing a witch hunt that threatens to further destabilize the region. Caught in the crossfire of accusations, the UN faces an unprecedented dilemma: how to mediate in such a volatile situation without further aggravating tensions. Meanwhile, the scandal shakes the foundations of Latin American politics, leaving everyone wondering what the outcome of this crisis will be. And so we come to the climax of this explosive saga, the final showdown. Will Maduro's incendiary statements lead to a diplomatic disaster of colossal proportions, or will they open the door to a new era of truth and transparency in the region? The world waits with bated breath, aware that the future of Latin America hangs in the balance.